Hey,
Guys
are you joining the Zoom? The this is Hadassah calling about ecotoxicology.
Duh, who else?
We're on. The Zoom is open.
The passcode is in the invitation. Who is it?
Okay. Where are you gonna zoom in? It's right now.
Who is it?
It's right now. I'm calling you because the meeting has started.
I already covered. Let me know if you need anything. You should be good to go.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And it is being recorded, just so everyone knows.
All right. Okay. Okay. Yep. Have a good day. Okay. Sounds good. Bye. He will not be joining us.
Not?
He will not be joining.
Okay. So I'll start the meeting if that's okay.
Yep.
So, this is a new committee in the first meeting today. It's the Ecotoxicology Committee for the Commission for Conservation of the Environment, CCE. Thursday, July 11th, 2024, 2:30 p.m. We're open to the public in compliance with the New York State Open Meetings Law and available on YouTube at the City of Binghamton channel. So I'll start by calling to order Darius Bang. Present. Matt Ryan absent and Richard Giannaccio present, and ex officio member Hadassah Medevetsky present. I actually wore this orange shirt to try to inspire the Parks Department to show up. We haven't had any of our ex officio members show up except for Hadassah and City. So I put together a proposed agenda and would start by asking if anybody would like to make any alterations to the agenda before we start. Additions, subtractions, changes in order. Okay. We're basically today what we're going to do is try to set up the committee. We need a chair, we need a secretary, and to explore possible issues to go into in the future, not to go into great depth today, but just to get them on the board and get the ball rolling. So we'll start with the nomination and election of committee chair. And I think anybody want to make a nomination?
I presume it's you. So, as an ex officio, I guess you would be the person to do the nominating.
I'll nominate you as chair.
Okay, so then you'll have to take over as chair for the election, right? It's temporary.
Okay. Yes.
And second,
Yeah, I don't know if I can second or not.
yeah, second it myself. I think this was done before, but
Great. So
second,
then you can call for a vote, I guess.
yeah,
I'll call for a vote for chair of the.
And I guess you might want to explain to the audience that there are three people officially on this committee.
yes, three people
How, because
officially on
it's
it.
you two are a quorum, but people following at home
Right.
might not realize that
People
this
on
is
the
a quorum.
Were the ones that were pulled at the roll, which is Darius Bang, Matt Ryan, and myself, and Hadassah Medevetsky, who is the president of the city council, is an ex officio member of our commission. We have other ex officio members that are on the commission as well, but they're not here either. So that's what we have, and we do have a quorum,
Right.
2 out of 3. And so, all in favor? Oh, you're supposed to say that.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so it passes, and I think we will do what we did for the full commission is to have somebody to chair in my absence, and I guess we could call that the vice chair or
Mhm.
whatever. I would nominate Darius for that position. And, second.
So you nominated, he said,
That's like accepting the nomination and second at the same time. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, so passes unanimously. And then a nomination and election of secretary. I nominate Darius to be secretary. Second?
Yeah.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Okay, so now we would normally have a public comment, and this meeting is open to the public, as I said in the beginning.
Mhm.
So if anybody is here, they would be able to speak now, or they could send in a note beforehand and we would read it into the record.
and to do that, they would email you for this now that you're chair?
Okay,
Or would they email Luke and he would forward it to you? Seems a little bit cumbersome.
yeah, we'll have to work that out. I haven't really discussed it with them.
Or would they email it might be cleanest for them to email the clerk's office and the clerk to forward it to you?
Yeah, because she has a city,
Email
email
address,
address.
yeah. And just with like the heading, like
they just have to put.
public comment for environment.
Yeah, they'd have to put the committee on there, so. that they
Yeah,
get to the right place.
ecotoxicology committee or,
Ecotoxicology, ECOTOXICOLOGY, toxicology. Okay, so we don't have any public comment here today, so we'll get a motion to close public comment.
I'll motion to close public comment.
Second,
all in favor?
favor, aye. So we'll close the public comment. And next, I'd like to just go into a little discussion of ecotoxicology as a committee and its mission in the context of the commission. Okay, and ecotoxicology deals with toxins. That's where the toxicology comes in. Anything that is toxic to an individual, a cell within an individual, part of the individual, or anything in the community level, all the way up to the biosphere. So it covers the gamut. Whereas, so that's what ecotoxicology is. You'll see different definitions. Some are more narrow than that, but that's the definition that I use. And I have posted a lecture that gives a good overview and outline of ecotoxicology and all its components, which I posted on Basecamp, but I don't think the public can get to that, right? However, if anyone's interested in the public, they can email me and I would be happy to send them the PDF file on that. I also posted on Basecamp for our people involved here, a textbook on ecotoxicology. It's kind of old, it's 2003, but it's free and it's in PDF form on the internet, so that's posted there, and I would be happy to email anyone who does not have access to Basecamp with that as well. So, any questions about that? Basically, what we would do here is to look at different topics, set up task force for each topic, and then report back to the committee. The committee will then vote on it, and it goes to the commission, and the commission votes on it, and it goes to the city council. And then sometimes the mayor, would share in that information too, to help in decision-making in some cases. So, any questions about that?
Are the topics outlined in the outline for ecotoxicology that you sent us? The topics?
No, we come out with our own topics depending on what we need to do, what we feel, and also the timing. If there's something that the city council may be voting on in the budget, and this information may be helpful for them, we try to work that in so it's done at the appropriate time. And then, you know, when we have spare time, we can do other things that may come up at a later date and not have to worry about rushing, but I think most of the things that we're gonna be doing will only take like 1 or 2 cycles if we meet every month. And so I've come up with 2 and you can add to it. I'd accept it from you, even the public, you know, if they want to add potential issues. And the first one that I wanted to introduce would be the municipal water quality of Binghamton. To set up the evaluate the municipal water quality, the testing, the filtration, chemical treatment, testing after the treatment, and delivery systems, etc. To bring our findings, conclusions, and recommendations to the full committee, which will then vote on it, and then it goes to the commission, like I said, and then it would go to the city council. And I think recently, Hadassah, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure when it was, but there was, this council voted on a consultant to go to the filtration plant and look at ways that might be changed, right? For what's being done. Or
Like training manuals and stuff
Yeah,
to make sure things are consistent, like consistent across, you know, across new employees. and
right,
things.
right. So that's what sort of gave me the impetus to put it on the agenda now, because it has some recent relevance, I think. I mean, it was approved, but I also got the impression that some of the members wish they had more time to look at it and get into the intricacies of it. So, any questions about that? So, what I'd like to ask for is a motion to set up this municipal water quality ecotoxicological task force. Luke has given me the water quality report, which is a good place to start. And then we can get into more detail with that. And he also said that we could possibly have a tour of the filtration plant. We'd set that up.
Maybe. There's a lot of rules after, I think after 9/11 relating to touring facilities relating to water. So council members did take a tour, were given that opportunity, but my understanding is that it is not I'm not sure where commission members would fall on the spectrum of being able to go in.
Okay.
So I wouldn't want to, I just to kind of hedge on it was kind of mentioned
You
that
you were copied on that email, I think, weren't you, or not? I'm not sure.
I get a lot of emails.
Okay, yeah, because Luke had emailed
Yeah.
me about that. He mentioned it to me.
So, yeah, so I know that a long time ago, they mentioned that they used to take like school children there on tours and such, but I believe it's kind of the post 9/11 world that they don't allow people without like government status in the water filtration department. So I don't know what the status of somebody who's sworn, because you've taken an oath, right? You swore in to be on the commission. So I'm not sure what status that gives you.
Okay.
So it's,
Yeah.
I guess. Something
Question mark.
Luke could take lead on as the bigger chair, to look into, but I guess. Don't be too optimistic on the response.
Okay. they give us an answer now, the committee's still pretty small.
Yeah.
There's an impetus. Okay, so we'll keep that as a possibility, otherwise, you know, probably we'll be asking for documents and details maybe about some of the things that are in the annual report. And then we will report back our findings, as it goes to that. So,
So basically, what you're proposing is looking at the publicly available annual report for city water,
which I have,
which you have,
yeah,
and which Darius would also be looking at, and
and
Matt
you know,
Ryan,
that will bring up certain follow-up questions and
right, and then you'll be
details.
creating like an executive summary that council might be able to understand, or
Yeah,
and then if there are questions that arise that you feel the document doesn't answer,
Mm.
then trying to get additional information. I just trying to understand what the scope is and what this looks like.
yeah, well, if we get answers, you know, to things that aren't there, or if we think that there are better ways of doing things, for example, in Canada now, they use ozone instead of chlorine, which doesn't create as many toxins in the water, because chlorine reacts and forms organic chlorides. And so, you know, we could look at these options in the future, maybe. Fluoridation is another thing which was discontinued in Ithaca a few years ago. So just we're here to give you information. And that's what we'll be looking at, some of those things, and whether there are better practices, whether here's an example, for example, are we testing for all the toxins that we should be testing for? Are there toxins that we think are in the Susquehanna River that we're overlooking? And especially since that big accident in Palestine a couple of years ago at the railroad, did that add new toxins that we don't test for because they weren't there before, but they may be there now? These are kinds of questions that I don't have answers for yet, but I'd like to explore the possibilities so that we get, you know, the best quality water that's reasonably possible.
So, okay,
Sound good? Or,
yeah, I mean, I'm certainly interested in kind of layperson executive level understanding of the annual report. But I think that would be a benefit to
Yeah.
council members to have something so that we can, because the bandwidth issues to read all the reports that exist is and understand them all is challenging.
okay, absolutely, so,
Yeah, I feel like that's something we could work on. just
Yeah,
like
let's-
break it up.
you know, I want to get.
And it's a good way for members of the commission to get up to speed on what the city's doing and what the documents look like.
what
yeah,
the
it's like
city's
it's-
doing.
Like, you know, to start reading these kind of larger reports and trying to create synopsis.
So, do I have a motion to set up this task force for the municipal water quality?
So does it need to be a separate task force from this committee? Because it's already,
Well, I think,
because it,
see, the reason I call it a task force now is because I see it more as a finite task of the committee. In other words, we do the thing, takes maybe a month or two, and then we're done with it until next
Right.
year or whatever. But down the road.
but the task force is made up of the committee members. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like,
Yeah, except that, you know, with this new legislation, we can add
and other
community people. See, so some of the community people may only be interested in working on one topic or
Yeah.
something. And that's another reason for doing it this way. But I would expect that Darius and I would be working on everything until we get, you know, some more people, and then he might have a committee with a few residents, I might have a committee with a few residents, there might be another task force with both of us on it. Just the same thing with the commission. And
I'm just trying to get a feel for where things are going.
right, Darius, do you, what, does that sound good to you?
Yeah, so basically, you are saying you're just setting a deadline for, say, September to have a
Yeah, I think of a task force.
summary on this issue.
Task, and then it's
Yeah.
done.
Okay,
Then you don't need to look at it unless a problem arises or you've overlooked something and you want to go back and reopen it. But it's not something that's ongoing.
Yeah.
I feel like that would help us, you know,
Huh?
strive to, you know, get to where we need to go. So I'll motion to establish the task force for the evaluation of water quality.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nay. Do you have any proposals, Nay?
I haven't thought of any yet, but I feel like that's a good idea for evaluating the water quality, especially with like the Susquehanna. I know there's a lot of,
Yeah,
you know, talk about it being.
apparently, about 10% comes from a well and the other 90% comes from the Susquehanna River. But that well is not very pure either. It's got a lot of microbiological contamination. It's right in the quality report. Luke sent it to me originally, but it's public record. It's on the website.
I certainly wouldn't want this meeting to raise concerns for people about drinking
No,
tap water.
it's
This
it's
is-
safe. I'm telling you,
is
this is the way. it
very
comes
well
out.
regulated. It
No,
is,
let me make it clear, this
Mo-
is what it is before it's treated.
right. I just, people watching at home, I don't want this to be
Yeah, the stuff
something that's scary. I mean, this is, I
No, what
got my
comes
tap
out of
water
the-
right in here right now.
comes out of the
Yeah, I
foot
got my
that
tap
does not pose any kind of a
Yeah.
hazard. Although in rare cases, it may if you have a really compromised immune system. But we haven't heard of any problems even with that.
So yeah, I just
Always have.
want to
say-
make sure that it's clear that
Oh, yeah.
that this discussion is not any sort of,
No,
should not be thought to drive any concern about this topic.
right, we're just, we're not saying there's a problem with the water. at all. As a finished product. You know, we don't encourage anybody to scoop up a cup from the.
River,
Susquehanna
yeah, don't
River.
drink the river- don't drink the river water.
Okay. All right, so another topic that I would like to introduce is to learn about the use of chemicals and other materials by Parks and Recreation, assess their environmental impact, and see if we can come up with recommendations for more eco-friendly practices to the committee, the commission, and city council. And I don't know, you might be aware of it, Hadass, a couple of years ago when they overdosed the overpass from Pennsylvania Avenue.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, you know, the overpass that goes over 434 and it has a pedestrian path, and they put nice plants and trees there. But a couple of years ago, somebody came to the South Side Assembly and showed us pictures, and I went there afterwards, and all the plants were dead.
hmm,
And after making an inquiry, the commissioner at the time, I think it was Patrick,
you get it.
said that they had applied too much, it was herbicide. And they did a good job of restoring it. They waited a little bit and then they took everything out. And I think they replaced some of the soil and they replanted. It looks fine now. But it just goes to show that, you know, these chemicals are toxic. And to what degree do we want to be adding toxins to the soil? And do we have to do it that way, or is there alternative ways of doing it? So that's one of the things we want to look at. You know, they use various chemicals and materials, and we want to see if there are better alternatives to practices that are going on. And also, you know, what precautions are taken to make sure that people are trained so they don't overdose like they did the last time. And so that would be a motion to establish Parks and Recreation Ecological Task Force.
So is that, I'm sorry, going back, given that as it stands, there's YouTube.
Now,
Are you creating a backlog of tasks? Is that,
What do you-
or are you planning to do this simultaneous?
simultaneous? Yeah. Probably.
You guys know your bandwidth.
Although I suspect that the water one will be done first, but of course it depends on cooperation that you get when you're looking for information too. Like which one is more forthcoming. You know, so that's another reason to work on them simultaneously, because sometimes you don't get things the same day you ask for them, right? That's is that a fair assumption?
Yeah. So for this one, you're looking for a list of chemicals that
Chemicals,
are used
yeah,
by
and,
Parks
you
and
know,
Rec.
and other things,
Maybe like how much water they're using.
well, not only chemicals, but like, you know, mulch and whether they're using compost. Sometimes they use sludge. Agriculture, I don't think they use it for the Parks Department, but you know, there are options there that were using the best options from an ecological standpoint, or is there room for improvement? Sometimes practices become.
I'm just trying to
Like
understand what needs to be requested. And
Oh.
whether or not, like, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, priority would be requesting the pesticides, the fertilizers. You know, pesticides could be insecticides, they could be herbicides, larvicides, if they're treating the river by the, you know, by the parks for mosquitoes or puddles, whatever, especially Occidental Park, that's always.
pesticides, fertilizers, and herbicides.
Pesticides, yeah, larvicides from mosquitoes sometimes. And
It's a new term for me,
yeah,
herbicides.
those are the chemicals.
My,
Compost, I mean, I don't think all composts are equal, so you would want to know the composition of the compost. Perhaps, and, you know. When you have information, then you can discern, you know, what to do with it, but right now, these are like blanks that have to be filled in.
so, I mean, I guess my thought is obviously we haven't had success in ex officios attending meetings, but maybe a first step would be seeing if we could just get a tour of Parks and Rec from somebody who might be able to answer questions. I'm just trying, like,
Yeah,
start the relationship building. And try and understand a little bit
There has to be,
holistically about why they do what they do and the thought process that went and decision making that went into what they're doing. I can't guarantee that they
some of it
say
could
yes
just
to
be
that,
like
but
tradition that just was never, you know. looked
right,
at.
but I mean, we don't know unless we talk to this, cause I'm
Right,
kind of thinking like without having that kind of conversation first, that getting kind of the list without the context here may or may not be useful, and we may or may not be successful in getting the list without having that conversation so they understand where things are coming from and
but I was thinking too that with budget requests coming in, they'll be asking for these kinds of supplies, right?
yeah.
Kind of have a list on that. And then once we know what's being used, we can see if that's like the best thing to be used for that purpose, or whether we could suggest something else.
Mhm.
That's all, we're not making any condemnation, we're just wanting to learn and,
Mhm.
you know, apply advice based on ecology, make it eco-friendly as possible.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a good idea, just to get the information. I also feel like I wouldn't be opposed to like meeting with them, just like getting a tour of everything, because I feel like it couldn't hurt just to, get like a lay of the land and,
Yeah.
um,
Again, can't promise that they're gonna say yes, but I can ask, and I think that it would make sense to ask, not just for this committee, but to just like the full commission would be, invite. See if we can set this one thing up for the full commission, and potentially so that we don't have people, and then invite council, for example, as well, so that we're not inviting them, trying to get multiple invites to things. That's kind of my,
And also,
My
I would
thought.
like to know about the training of the people that
Yeah.
apply these pesticides and things. I saw recently, now this is not the city, but this is, Twin River Commons, student housing. Over there on South Washington, no, it's Washington Street, just around the corner from here, right next to the downtown center. And just I'd say about 4 or 5 weeks ago, there was a guy there spraying Roundup. How do I know it was Roundup? Because he had the tank on the back that said Roundup, which we know now causes lymphoma and other blood cancers, and has lawsuits against the company, Monsanto. He had no protection on, and he was soaking the ground over there outside between the sidewalk and the building. And I went back now, and they have plastic flowers stuck in where there used to be plants.
Hmm.
So I mean, that's the opposite of what you want to see. The poor guy was not trained properly, had no protection on at all. Using a very dangerous pesticide, I'm sure there's a better way to do it. And then at the end of the game, they put a plastic flower there. You can't even add oxygen to the atmosphere, just a piece of plastic. They're pretty, but they're plastic. You can go by, it's right around the corner. That's just illustrates, on one extreme or the other.
I feel like that's something we could definitely like bring up if we have in person.
Yeah, so you might think that we're also setting up an outreach and education committee, so we want to be able to share our findings with the community as well, so that we're not just saying that the government could set an example in the city, but certainly we want to share the knowledge with private property owners too, so that they can also, be on the right side of helping the environment. So,
I can't remember if we got through the motion.
no, we didn't, but it's a motion to establish Parks and Recreation Ecotoxicological Task Force.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? You're opposed?
I don't vote.
Oh,
I'm ex officio.
you don't vote?
Yeah, ex officios are
Oh, that's
non-voting
right.
members.
Voting.
That's why I have not been voting. I'm just an observer,
Okay,
basically. I get to join in on the discussion.
so the only advantage is you don't sit over there, you sit over here. No, but we really appreciate you being here, your input. You help us to put things in a context. So if Darius, you don't have any other task force to propose at this time?
Yeah, no, this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can close that part of the meeting, which is the new business portion of the meeting. Motion to close the new business portion.
I'll make a
Darius,
motion for a
second, all in favor? Aye. And the next part of the meeting is to discuss the future meeting, time and place. I selected this time because I put up a when to meet grid, and I emailed Darius and Matt. And this was a time when we were both available. Matt did not respond, and Samantha had the room available, so it clicked, and that's why we're here at this particular time. So we could, if that's good for you, we could continue that on a monthly basis next month, you know, and also we wanted to space it. You know, we didn't want to have it like a day before the regular meeting or a day after, but just at least it's a week, exactly a week apart. So that's good. And then Monday, if I get in the agenda on Monday, it gives us a 72-hour notice that we need to give for the open meetings law to be in compliance with that. So everything seemed to work to having the meeting today, and if that's a good time for you.
I'm not sure about the time. I feel like it could change.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, they had another meeting here beforehand,
Okay.
so that's why it couldn't be 2 o'clock. Was in case it spilled over a little bit, you know, which it did a little bit, but just by a few minutes. You know, we could have started at 2:15, but Sam suggested 2:30, and that's why I went with that, because of the room.
Yeah, I just have an interview set up for canvassing position with NIPER, and they would run from 2 to 10 on weekdays.
Oh,
So if I were to get that position, that would kind of be an issue, like having to do it at 2:30.
is that just for the summer?
Yeah, just for the summer. So it would only be an issue next month.
Mhm. And then, you know, in the fall, you might have a class that you need to take at that time. You don't know yet, right?
Yeah, so it's all variable, but I should be good for this day at least.
Okay. And I don't anticipate, today's meeting will probably be a little bit shorter, but I don't anticipate them at the very most would be an hour and a half, but they should average about an hour, maybe 45 minutes, an hour, you know, something like that. Because we do our homework, we'll share things on Basecamp and email so that we all have our documents and things when we come to the meetings. Okay? So, all right, so we'll keep it at the same time and place, which will be the second Thursday of the month at 2:30 p.m. here in the work session room of City Clerk's office.
Then we could just email if, you know, the time or place doesn't work.
Huh?
And we could just email if the time or place doesn't work. And,
Yeah,
you know, just
Yeah.
find something.
well, usually, yeah, right, sure. But again, if we have to reschedule it, we have to give 72-hour notice.
Yeah,
Because
that would
we
definitely
have
be
to
nice.
repost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next, we have, section, we close the future meeting, we settle that now, right? So we close that part of the meeting.
Motion to close that.
Second, all in favor, aye, okay. And the next part is, committee member comments and communications. Darius,
To just comments about the committee or,
yeah, or anything that has to do with, that's relevant, really.
It's like public comment except for committee members.
okay,
Yeah, like city council does at the end.
Yeah.
It was actually suggested
Pass
by
the com.
corporation council, Jen,
Oh, nice.
yeah. I thought it was a good idea.
I feel like it'd be a good idea just to start start looking at like the water report. And, looking into scheduling something with the Parks and Rec Department, just like over the next month.
Did you see the one I sent you?
I don't think I
I
saw that.
emailed it to you as well as put it in base camp.
Okay. I should be able to access
Yeah,
that.
I emailed it to you and Matt, just because you're committee members, make sure.
I was at the AWQR,
Yeah, that's it.
and I think just looking over that.
It stands for Annual Water Quality Report.
Okay.
Okay, so, what was yours, is that,
Yeah, just going through that and, making notes and, just trying to make sense of it, like Kadasa was saying, so that, we could meet next time and, hopefully create like a, more final document that we could present to the commission and then eventually present to council.
you're an environmental studies student, right?
Mhm.
Do you anticipate that other people that, you're in contact with at the university will be interested in joining the committee?
I could ask around, yeah. I'm not sure, but I could definitely ask. Would be worth asking.
Okay, so you done?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll go next. I want to thank the city council for voting yesterday overwhelmingly, unanimously to approve, giving the full commission the ability to appoint residents to committees. And that would be done by Luke, the chair. But, they come to us, we'll refer them to them for a decision, but that's a great thing. I'm really looking forward to having that extra input from community members, because we have a lot of things that we're working on, and we're stretched pretty thin right now. We have committees of 1, 2, and 3. Maybe one climate committee is a little bit larger. That's the only one. So I'm very grateful for that, and I really want to especially also thank Nate for introduced the legislation, and both Nate Hotchkiss and Robert Cavanaugh made very good statements during the commentary period prior to the vote. So thank you very much. And I look forward to working with the water department, getting the information, as well as Parks and Recreation, and working together to improve Binghamton's environment as much as possible, because it's something that we just haven't paid attention to for about a decade. So it's a lot of work to be done, right? And hopefully, we will get some of our other ex officio members here. Like I said at the beginning, I'm wearing this orange shirt. I thought I might bring in the Parks Department, but it didn't work. That's all I have to say, and very grateful, and hope we will work together to do great things.
Thank you.
Dawson?
Let me think. Well, this was interesting. I wasn't sure exactly what was gonna happen at today's meeting, and that intrigued me into making sure I came. And I think I think it would be helpful to get little summaries, get a little bit more information. And I guess I would encourage that, when we first came into office in January, we talked about like the 6 months of learning, kind of like, like 90 days of learning, like kind of those types of concepts of, right now we're reestablishing the Commission for the Conservation on the Environment. And there's so many documents to read, there's so many things to synthesize, there's so many employees and people that are important to understand their roles and all that I guess I just kind of encourage as a new committee to kind of take that mindset of like, yeah, just that learning mindset that nobody's trying to change anything or tell anybody that they're doing things incorrectly, but just like understand what's being done and why it's being done. And then, start to figure out how we can work with people. So, yeah, I guess that's kind of my,
We're advisory
yeah.
and, communication's a two-way street, so
Mhm.
we hope to learn and share both
Right.
ways.
And I think as reports and documents are generated, for example, by this committee and then channeled up to the full commission, and then from there shared with council, the mayor, and the public as relevant. And as those documents are found valuable, then hopefully we'll see engagement from employees who have projects or things where in the commission, as more broadly, the commission's impact input would be, they can see it as something that's valuable and a value add and not intention. So
Yeah.
I like to see how we can move towards
Well,
that.
I can envision down the road where more people will know about us and they will come to us, but right now it seems like we have to reach out first because, we're kind of buried a little bit. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not established. And people are not used to having us as part of the city government, so we have to kind of reach out and take the first, let people know that we're here. And I think in the future, if they find that we're a valuable asset to, provide useful information, that they will see us as a resource.
Yeah, I guess that's my comments.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Okay, so that's the meeting, and if we have a motion to adjourn,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
all in favor?
You have to second it.
Second motion to adjourn, favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nobody.
Great.
Okay,
Thank you all,
very
and
much.
we'll have the clerk come in to shut off the video.
And then that'll be uploaded to YouTube so that I can take care of minutes and everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, so your minutes go to the clerk. And yeah, you two and the clerk. And even if, even when they're draft minutes, you can do the draft minutes and they can put them up faster, and then there'll be a vote to approve them next meeting, and then they can do, if there's any changes or whatever, mostly
Yeah.
minutes.
we'll go out and check with Sam if there's a deadline for that to make the last
Yes,
minutes.
yes. And this video gets posted later, it's not a live video, so it's not up yet,
Oh,
so
okay. Is that gonna be typical? Usually
I
the
believe
case?
that's usually the case.
Okay.
You know how long typically it takes for like the,
Video to get posted, usually I think a few days. The council, the full council and the work session and business meetings are live.
Well, I thought our first meeting was live. Sam said that the other one wasn't on because we had a split screen.
Oh. Well, maybe. That's true. I don't know if this is, I guess this is the Zoom, or this is the. I don't know. I'm not sure.
We're off now, aren't we?
No, she's gotta come in and turn it on. They're still on being videotaped. Someone needs to go and tell the clerk. Right.
Is this a good time to use, Austin?
Yes, I have childcare pickup right now, I'm rushing up, so ideally a few minutes shy of this would be good for me,
Okay.
like,
A little bit short.
well, sure, but we'll get there.